You mentioned the CM Punk, Chris Amann, Colt Cabana thing. They were in court today, a mere 11 days before CM Punk's UFC fight at that. Like, he's about to start cutting weight right now. It's about to get real. Here are a few tweets from Gregory Pratt, who was there at the courthouse. He said, I stopped in for a minute to watch the CM Punk Colt Cabana defamation case. Surreal to see two wrestlers sitting across from a jury, listening to a podcast of them talking life and pro wrestling that led WWE's doctor to sue the ex-champ. Caught some of WWE Doc Chris Amann's testimony. The podcast dropped on Thanksgiving 2014. The lawyer went through tweets calling for him to be fired and news stories on the podcast. Amann disputes Punk's story about the doctor failing to treat him. On timing, the doctor is likely to continue testifying tomorrow from what I heard. No idea how long the trial will go, but they were being thorough and going through stuff. The jury heard all the controversial podcast episode, including Cabana's plug and upcoming events. CM Punk seemed visibly amused, chuckling here and there at some of the top things in the podcast, like Cabana saying, fuck you to people who might call next week with abrasive questions. I reached out to Gregory Pratt and asked him if it seemed as if Punk and Cabana seemed friendly or at odds, because, there's been much made about that.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he couldn't really characterize that, but they didn't seem hostile with each other. They have separate attorneys, but that would make sense if they played different roles in the podcast, host and interviewee. Also, he said that Punk looked good and fit ahead of his 225 fight, and that he was mostly serious and attentive, but there were moments where some of the wrestling talk was over the top, or the aforementioned comment that he seemed amused by. Anything about this stand out to you? I can tell you that when I was at Wrestling Inc. at the time, they, as Raj put it at the time, WWE sent us about 4 minutes of ass shots of CM Punk from that Royal Rumble, trying to prove to us that he did not have staff on his ass. So that's really the only communication I've ever had between WWE about the situation.
I don't know how to take that, Sean Ross. I don't know how to take that. I am a little shocked that I'm wondering if Punk's lawyers asked for a continuance or not. I really am, because look, if I'm the lawyers for Amann, I drag this thing out as much as I can on my presentation and keep Punk from training. I mean, if you've ever sat in court for jury duty alone, or just that, it is long, it is tough. It is not the easiest thing to sit there, even with the breaks. It is a long day. And if this goes 5-6 days, that cuts significantly into the training. I'm guessing that Punk's lawyers may have asked for a continuance, and Amann's may have balked at that and argued the case in front of the judge not to. That's the thing that stands out to me. I just can't believe he's maintaining a decent training and cutting schedule while being in court for 8 hours a day.